Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. I'm going to be honest. I actually enjoyed this episode. Nothing to saying I didn't enjoy the other episodes, but sometimes with some of the other episodes I saw, they were good, and then there was times where it was like, but I actually enjoyed this one through and through. I want to start off with Billy and Ashlyn because to be honest, I really enjoyed their conversation. Their back and forth banter was pretty entertaining. Um, Especially when Billy comes in and he calls, he looks at Ash and he's like, why are you sitting there looking like a supervillain ready for world domination? And I'm not gonna lie, I laughed my ass off. But the usual back and forth, Ashlyn finding ways to sit there and try to belittle him, look down upon him. Billy's not there calling Ashlyn out on some sort of nefarious intentions and stuff like that. Bringing Lily in, and they're saying, "Oh, well, you're gonna sit there and kind of screw her over because you seem like the type of person that you're not just happy where you are. Like you want to sit there and be very greedy and probably take over the company. Like he's not just happy just sitting back or whatever, just kind of giving the opinions here and there. And to be honest, Ashton did sit there and say at one point he says something along the lines of, I'm used to having a firm grasp, a firm hand on something like that. The way he said it, it made it seem like he was used to sitting there being in control of stuff. And even Victoria was like, we are 50-50 on this, right? So what Billy said was not out the question. They go back and forth for a little bit, and eventually Victoria gets there, and Ashlyn pretty much just tells on Billy, like, hey, Billy was saying this and that, and saying stuff about our relationship. And, you're sitting there watching it, and you're just like, is it my imagination that, or did I just sit there and watch a grown ass man tell his wife, tattletale on his wife's ex, to sit there and get her to go at him? That's literally what I saw, and that's exactly what she went up doing. Um, Snitcher saying you need to back off this, that, and the third, and you're being all up in our marriage and yada yada yada. And of course, Billy is like, oh, well, I'm glad the kids are away, and this way, they don't have to sit there and deal with this toxic mess or whatever that we got going on right now. So, with that being said, Billy did sit there and say something along the lines of, listen, you want to bet on him, you want to sit there and think he's your perfect husband and business partner. When he screws you over, and he will screw you over, um, you're gonna have a mighty long fall down. And well, I'm gonna sit there and say I told you so, more or less. And he walks off. And of course, Victoria was sitting there talking to Sally. Sally was sitting there putting the cards on the table. Listen, I know you don't like me. I know you're sitting there looking for me to screw up, but I like to sit there and prove myself, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So, Victoria's like, listen, I'm pretty sure you're a great dressmaker, and I'm not sitting there, questioning your drive, but you don't really seem like you have the background to sit there and master the job, and you got to sit there and do a lot more than sit there and talk. You talk a big game, but we want to sit there and see some action. And of course, she, um, brings up Adam, their relationship or whatever. And Sally did kind of lie a little bit. Sally was like, "Listen, what we do during our off time is our business. I'm saying we do have a relationship, but we don't. But we keep it professional, like you and Ashley. Trying to make comparisons. So with that being said, um, Victoria leaves, and of course Victoria's not there telling Ashley like, "Yo, listen, those two, yeah, it's more than just business." And so, Victoria's like, listen, we don't even have to sit there and we don't have to do much of anything. We don't have to throw obstacles in their path because those two are going to do all the work. And, then we have proper cause to sit there and fire him. Again, I have no idea what the relationship is like between Victoria and Adam, but I mean, she wants to sit there and get this guy set up and thrown out from jump. So I'm like, whatever Adam must have did to her must have been pretty bad. I mean, they are siblings, but then again, look at stuff like the Cassidines and the Quartermain, so, anything goes pretty much. Now, speaking of Adam, he's not there talking to Victor. And flats out, he's like, yo, listen, I'm not going to be a spy. I'm not doing that. I'm not, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking one of your tests anymore. I don't remember him snitching. There was one point he told Sally that he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna walk. I'm not either I'm gonna do my job my way or I'm gonna walk." I don't remember him saying that. But the point is, he did sit there and tell Victor that, like, "Yo, listen, I'm not gonna be a spy. I'm not jumping through hoops for you or trying to prove myself to you. I'm just not doing it. I just got back. I'm not trying to burn bridges and stuff like that." So he's like, "I'm not doing it." But Victor's like, "Yo, listen, this isn't about a test. I simply don't trust him. And you're in a position where you can do something. So take your pride out, whatever you want to sit there, whatever in your feelings. This isn't about that. This is about the company. This is about the family. We gotta sit there and look out for our own." Wow. Okay. Um. But he's like, listen, we gotta sit there and protect the empire. And Adam made it seem like this was like a condition, like either you spy for me, otherwise you're not good enough and stuff. And of course, Victor, was being kind of old school parent, as far as like, yo, listen, you're um, I forgot the words he was using, because to be honest, like I just literally forgot the words he was meant to using, but pretty much he just started going in on him, saying that he was disappointed and that, I shouldn't have believed in you and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh, wow. Listen, whenever a parent disciplines their child, it is one thing to sit there and yell at them, be angry at them. When you start sitting there saying, like disappointed hurts so much more than if they're simply yelling at you. And granted, again, I don't really know Victor, like the history and just his whole persona, pretty much. But my whole thing is like, yo, listen. At the end of the day, if Victor says he doesn't trust Ashlynn, he is looking, for Adam's help as far as protecting the company, protecting the family. Maybe this isn't really so much about him testing him or trying to, proving something to Victor. Maybe this is literally about you protecting the family because Ashlyn is a shady person. He's been lying from jump. So him being caught up in this film is like, yo, bro, maybe this is. I don't know Victor too well, but maybe you should kind of listen to him. But he doesn't, and he storms off. And he does tell Sally later on that he felt like he overplayed his hand by, not spying for him. And of course, Sally was meant to talk about her encounter with Victoria and how she kind of put all the cards on the table and kind of just stood up for herself. Like, Adam, you might want to be on board with this because later on, I can't believe I'm seeing what they're saying is he's talking to Michael Baldwin, and the guy is like, "Yo, listen, I'm talking to the doctor," and bottom line is he's like, Ashlyn paid to get falsified tests saying that he, was sick and, had cancer and stuff. In reality, he didn't. He didn't have cancer. And I'm, well, I don't know how to sit there and say this, without sounding like I'm wishing evil on a character, even if he's just a character. But I'm like, bro, if you don't have some sort of sickness going on, I feel like there's certain lines, even in the storyline, even for stories that if you're not careful, you can really cross a line. I'll give you an example, and I hope this makes sense. So there's a movie, I think it's called Tag, and during one part of the movie, I guess his name is Jeremy Renner. Because he's the person that everyone's snitching trying to catch, and he gets caught up in this one place, and I guess he's hiding with his soon to be wife, and his wife fakes like she's having labor pains or whatever, she's like she may be going through a miscarriage. So and literally like they got him cornered, and he knows he can't escape. So he has his wife fake like she's going through labor pains or whatever. And so they stop the game or whatever, and they don't touch him, and they leave. And then later on, she's sitting there joking, talking about, oh well, he came up with the idea, and I thought it was a good idea to sit there and fake there was something wrong with the baby, and I was like, whoa, like really? Like up into a point, I felt like the movie was just silly, kind of over the top, but whatever. It was not the movie that I chose to pick when I was watching with my friends, but it got to that point, and I was like, yeah, I hate this movie with a passion. And we're literally sitting there arguing about this, and I don't think that he really understood the gravity of what she did. Like, even if it was just a movie and whatever, like, there's certain things you just don't cross. Like, there's certain lines you don't cross. And even for a movie, of them saying that, like them putting it in that movie, just rubbed me the wrong way. So if Ashlyn is actually faking, and even Michael Bowen was like, "Yo, I can't believe that somebody would sit there and stoop so low." Like if he's faking this illness, I, mm, I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm gonna stop watching it, but like I feel like with that just kind of crossed the line. And I know it's probably not the first time somebody like fake like they had an illness or whatever, but not something where it literally affects everyone. You know, either someone who had it or whatever. So to sit there and fake something like that, I feel like it's crossing the line, like really crossing the line. And I remember sitting there talking to some people in the comment section, and some people was like, "Oh, he's gonna sit there and get proof that he's faking it," and I'm like, Ugh, I I really hope that's not the case. And something tells me it is, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Now throughout, now throughout the rest of this episode, you got Nate Smith there talking to Lily about a career change, and about how he just doesn't, he lost that passion of doing a whole hospital scene or whatever, especially since he can't be a doctor anymore. And Lily was like, you know what? She didn't sit there and try to poison his mind by saying, oh, Ashlyn and Victoria are terrible people or whatever. She was just like, yo, listen, why don't you come work for me? Just come work for me. We can, apparently I guess they're family or whatever. And so, that was the alternative she gave him, and he was like, listen, I'll think about it. And when Billy found out, Billy was like, it's not really a hard choice. It's either freedom or working with supervillains. I mean, it's not much of a choice. Um, and I'm like, well, it's weird. It's weird in either scenario. If and granted, I don't know the family tree or whatever, but if Nate is working with family, there's a fine line between working with family and having someone of your family tell you what to do as a boss. And it's the same thing with Ashlyn. Um, Mine is that the fact that he is coming across as a piece of work, to sit there and say the least. Working with your friends and having your friends sit there and tell you what to do is almost as awkward as actually having one of your family members tell you what to do. So I guess we'll just wait and see. But honestly, tell you the truth, when Lily was like, when they was like, all right, well, what I even be doing here? And Lily was like, oh, we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something. He's literally sitting there picking just a major decision in his life, and you offer to have him come work for you, but you don't know what he's going to be doing. Your answer is, we'll come up with something. Yeah, okay, sure. I'm pretty sure you sold him on that one. Oh, and when Billy gets back, he decides, well, Lily, encouraged him to move forward with his podcast as long as, it doesn't take up too much time. So he doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's not so much weird, but I guess he can do it. I mean, podcasts don't really have to be super long, and some people don't even really like talking that long anyway. Like some people have podcasts that can go on for like a couple hours, and some people's like, yo, listen, I'm doing like an hour, maybe 30 minutes. So if you can squeeze it in and still do both of those, but that's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I know, it's a passion project and it's something that he enjoys doing, so I don't think it'll be too much. Well, it's actually sort of, well, it's not sort of like me, because he's doing stuff on a much grander scale, but, coming home from work and then getting into the reviews, it could be kind of a lot. The difference is, I actually have fun doing this, so it's not really like it's, oh, I gotta sit there and do it. It's like, all right, now I get to sit there and do what I want to do, if that makes sense. And I didn't sit there and talk about Adam and Sally. Damn, I really had it. Almost felt like I was on pause for a minute. Anyway, all Adam and Sally really do is kind of catch each other up on what's going on. Like Sally sits there and tell. I did say this, but I don't remember if I did. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, um, Sally pretty much just tells Adam that she talked to Victoria and just kind of put her cards out on the table. And Adam, and I swear I actually did do this. I actually did sit there and say it, but I'm not doing this again. Adam did sit there and talk about how he overplayed his hand with, Victor as far as just saying no to him. Which again, I feel like this isn't like maybe he's just being prideful, but I'm like, Ashlynn is a shady dude. Um, but you know what? On a side note, what does everyone think about the new Ashlynn? I mean, I wasn't really around too much for the old Ashlynn. Like by the time that I caught him a little bit, I didn't really sit there and stick around long enough to really kind of like fully like I guess get his take on Ashlyn. But I do like this guy. Um, the guy that they got back, and he clearly has experience on like daytime television. Now again, it's one of those situations where it's like the other guy who played Ashlyn. I remember him from the '90s show called The Specialist, which is really showing my age, but so there's a certain a certain place in my heart for that guy. But this new guy's killing it also. So I want to know what everyone else's thoughts are on a new Ashlyn. And I'm it is way too late right now to sit there and get into the other guy being fired and well being fired. Let's be honest. And that whole thing, and I may sit there and dive into that a little bit down the road, but yeah, because that's another messy situation. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it tonight, but if I remember, I'll sit there and talk about it in another video. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's about it for the most part, but I also feel like I might have left one or two things out. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Not like the stuff isn't important. It's just I'm not 100% sure if I left some stuff out, but I think I got to the most important stuff that I think. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I know this came out super late. I'm gonna sit there and try to push it out tomorrow, but I don't know how. It really all depends on if I wake up early enough to sit there and try to do the review. Because as everyone knows, there's a lot of times I get to sit there and do like the future episodes or like tomorrow's episode, early. Um, Really depends on what time I actually wake up and how much sleep I get the night before. So, not too sure. I'm gonna sit there and try to do my best to sit there and push it out. I'm gonna be honest. You know what? Screw it. Since I got some time, um, see, tomorrow I have to sit there and work around like 9. So it's not like even if I go to bed around 2, I can get enough hours of sleep. But Friday I gotta be at work at 6, and if tomorrow's schedule, like I get out and do my reviews and it's the same time around as today, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. I can push it, but I'm gonna be tired as hell. Um, and I'm like super committed to it. Like part of me wants to sit there and be like, you know what, listen, I'm gonna watch the video. I mean, I'm gonna watch the episode, but I may not do a review on it. But I'm gonna sit there and say, I feel like my passion may outweigh my common sense as far as probably go to bed a little more earlier. We'll see. I will sit there and try to put put a post tomorrow. Either way. But I want to thank everyone for just watching because I know that this is still a new soap opera for me, and the dynamics and stuff like that, and my take on some of these characters may be a little bit different than how other people are seeing it because, well, a lot of people have been watching the show longer than me. So, even with like Victor, I know that I think one of the subscribers named Lane was pretty much telling me how Victor is a POS. Now, granted, I've only started watching him like 3 weeks ago, so I don't really know how bad this guy can be. So, when I sit there and do my takes on some of these characters, just kind of take it with a bit of grain of salt because I'm still getting used to the characters and history and stuff like that. And also thank you for watching. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.